Welcome to This Week in Guns, a podcast that covers commentary on the latest firearms news, information, and buzz. Brought to you by the Firearms Radio Network. I'm your host, Jake Challen from Gun Guy Radio. Brownells helps make this show possible. Selection, service, satisfaction. Find it all at Brownells. Please visit thisweekinguns.com/Brownells. Have a great set of panelists this week with us again. We have Natalie Foster, founder of Girls Guide to Guns. Hey, Natalie.
Hey, Jake. How are you? Thanks for having me back.
Oh, we couldn't wait to have you back on. And Peter Palma requested you personally, inventor of the MS Clean Kits. Hey, Peter.
Yeah, I bet he did.
I was like, we need to get this complete stranger I've never met on here.
Right.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
And we have Josh Cast, otherwise known as Whitey of Four Guys Guns.
How's it going, Jake? Great to be here. I love doing the close talking when you introduce me.
In a world
where Jake has a firearms radio network, we have a show.
Well, no announcements this week, so we'll get right into the top stories. Smith & Wesson to buy firearms accessory firm Battenfield Technologies. So,
I researched them.
This week, looks like they're paying $130 million in cash for Battenfield Technologies. And are you guys familiar with Battenfield? Because
I researched them. They own all kinds of stuff.
So here's my... I didn't research who they are for this scenario, but in the past I was under the impression that they were owned by Midway USA or maybe the son of Larry Potterfield of Midway USA. There was like some relationship there with Midway USA at least at one time, and they own a bunch of different brands. That you've probably
Caldwell,
seen.
Wheeler, Frankfurt Arsenal, Tipton, mostly reloading stuff.
Yeah.
Seems like a good move, right? I mean, I think it's kind of a natural progression considering, that we had a huge firearms boom, and then you're going to get people that are now going to want to start reloading. They got a lot of spent casings to fill, right?
Yeah, and I can imagine that Smith & Wesson is looking to diversify because their sales, have been down. Many of the big manufacturer sales have been down this year since the, rush for AR-15s has died down now, and really overall rush for everything has died down. So
yeah, but you know what? I am interested to see what happens this quarter after we had this huge Black Friday, and then also with the immigration announcement. I think that is going to really influence things, especially on the southern border.
Those people probably have enough guns already.
Never.
Wait, are you saying people coming across the border are going to buy guns?
I know.
Those damn Canadians are coming to get me.
The Canucks.
This looks like a good move for Smith & Wesson when it comes to the actual bottom line. I would see their stock probably start going a bit up. A lot of these companies that are owned by Battenfield or run by Battenfield are accessories. Anybody who's worked in retail or has any kind of business savvy in the physical merchandise market knows that accessories is where the money is, since the money is not really in the actual firearm itself. So this will definitely pad their bottom line. Stockholders will be pleased, and I think it's just them doing business, like actual business, instead of just putting all their chips into just the gun market, so to speak. So good on them.
Yeah, and Smith & Wesson has this history too, right? I mean, they acquired Thompson Center, and they've acquired and released others as well. So it makes a lot of sense. I mean, this is the direction Smith & Wesson wants to go. James knows what he's up to. I think this is a really good thing.
It's forward thinking, especially after, I think, before the holiday break, Jake, we were talking about Colt and how they're kind of, we're Colt and we're always going to be Colt and we're going to do Colt things the Colt way, and that worked back in the early 1900s, but it's now killing them.
Yeah, what's the latest on that? Does anybody have the update? I mean, I know they had 30 days when I checked last for a $2.5 million bill or something like that.
Yeah, it was a bond payment or Colt?
Oh yeah,
Colt
is that up this month, right?
Next payment to bondholders. So yeah, possibly missing $10.9 million payment to bondholders next year. I think they're in the extension period. I think they're in that 30-day mark, but that must run into next year here, maybe.
So what happens to Colt?
Well, then
there's history there. It's an important company.
Right. That's what I was trying to say last episode, but Whitey was like, get rid of them.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah, whatever. For any historical firearm that was made by Colt is made by somebody else as well. Like Chapata makes all those single action armies and everything, and they're just, they're living off their name. It's like, what have you done for me? Have they done anything recently? Like they made the revolver, like back during the, Civil War, and then what did they do after that? I don't know. Did they do anything? That's the last thing I remember.
They made a whole bunch of rifles for the military that you probably cleaned several billion times over.
And then they sucked, so they lost their thing for it, and then FN started making them.
Well, but then there's another company that you're like, what's happening with you guys?
You know what I think would be an awesome kind of irony to see is that if the U.S. government signed a bill or gave some sort of what they do for the car industry.
Oh, the bailout.
Yeah.
Colt's
I
too
would like
big
to
fail.
The U.S. government give Colt a bailout, and I would love
that.
Especially with this administration. I would love to see it during this administration.
Yeah. How many jobs? How many jobs will be lost?
Shovel ready jobs.
Shovel ready.
People's heads would explode if you did that.
It says Colt, to mitigate the business risk associated with increased liquidity challenges, Colt said it will seek revenue growth across all channels, focus production schedule on its backlog of firm commitments, work closely with U.S. government regulators to obtain timely approval of international sales, and seek ways to restructure senior notes to reduce overall debt service costs.
None of that. So we're going to make new, better guns. It's just like,
Well,
we're
it
a
sounds
business.
like,
We're a business.
We're going to be doing stuff we should have been doing all along.
Yeah.
It sounds like.
Whatever.
Yeah. So, anyways, how do we get off track? We were talking about Smith & Wesson.
It was me.
Natalie.
Let's go to this next article. It's awesome.
It is awesome. I want Peter to rip into this one.
Okay.
So, welfare terrorists arrested. NBP members couldn't buy a bomb with depleted EBT card. So the FBI arrested 2 members of the New Black Panthers in Ferguson, Missouri, late last week on weapons charges after they used
to check and see if this wasn't an Onion article.
There's no way this is real.
After they used straw purchases to get a pair of 45 ACP high points and bombs from an FBI informant.
That's awesome.
This is so cliche, it's not even funny. I mean, you can't make this up.
Well, it gets better because they planned on blowing up the St. Louis Arch with pipe bombs.
There's no way that would have worked. First of all, it's like a layer of steel and then a layer of concrete and another layer of steel. You need an enormous amount of explosive to detonate to take that down.
But the problem is there's no security around the St. Louis Arch. Now they're going to have to, I mean, there's nothing. It's kind of sad, I think. You look at D.C., everything, has all sorts of, security around it, and there's nothing for the St. Louis Arch, and somebody's going to do something, because now they know that, the system's vulnerable. I mean, I don't know. I think...
With the depleted EBT card.
Yes.
And it was his girlfriend's.
Then he's got like a Gestapo and it's crazy. This is insane.
So I want to know why the author thinks that the charges won't stick at all.
So which article are you looking at? The first one?
Well, the one that you the first one.
Well, okay, because it's written by bearingarms.com. That's why the author doesn't think it'll stick. It's like, it might as well just be like, I don't like blackpeople.com, pretty much. All right, so of course this guy's going to be like, they're never going to go to jail. He has no basis knowing that. I read the article. I'm like, dude, slow your roll a little bit. How do you know that they're not going to get a jail for that? An FBI informant, he tried to buy explosives from. That's illegal. It's going to stick.
Well, the next article here, I think, brings up a good point about this situation in that, this group that plotted bombing and assassination and everything, they're charged with a gun crime. And, that's what law enforcement does a lot of times. I think that's sometimes why anti-gun bills are pushed through, because it's, we can get these gangbangers, off the streets by bringing them up on gun charges.
The title of this article is Black Racist Group Plotted Bombing. I mean, to start with that, okay, it's a little, did you think they're a little biased right there? Maybe. I mean, I'm not saying that they're wrong or they're right either way, but it's just you could see which way they're leaning.
Well, okay,
but be objective here. All right, come on, your news article, and that goes to the left does the same thing. But
oh yeah, well, I'm so
tired
of hearing
start like that.
I'm so tired of hearing the phrase "unarmed teenager." Cop shoots unarmed teenager.
That's like one of the cards in Cards Against Humanity. It's like 6 foot tall black man in hoodie.
So here's, it's so face value. So listen, maybe the reason why they're only getting on like the straw purchases or the gun charges is because no transaction actually took place for the bombs, only intent. So therefore, does that intent actually have a lesser charge than the gun crimes, which is why they go after the gun crimes? Because if the EBT card was depleted, no transaction ever happened, so they had the intent.
That they bought one, they needed it for the other two.
Well, even if it wasn't depleted, could they buy it with an EBT card?
That's the best part, is that, I'll just get some pipe bombs by swiping my card. Like, who does that? Like, they've never seen a movie before where there's like a briefcase and cash or a duffel bag. Like, just swipe it, right in the back alley. No.
All right. Unusual New Jersey firearm law doesn't apply to smart gun, the Attorney General finds in New Jersey. So we had talked about this before, that as soon as a quote-unquote smart gun, like the one, the armament, I'm going to say it wrong.
Engage Armament.
Engage Armament?
Those are the ones that's the company in, where they, Pennsylvania or Jersey, Maryland, somewhere down there, that actually started selling this thing. It was like the first store in the country to actually say, we're going to carry this gun.
The IP1 pistol that has that wristwatch type dealie to allow the user to use it. And the Attorney General, now this is something
it's pretty amazing.
I did not know, is that the law in New Jersey requires the Attorney General to look into this every 6 months, I think, and file a report on it if this technology exists yet. That's something that's pretty crazy. So, anyways, he ruled that
he's got to get away from like hanging out with prostitutes or whatever the New Jersey, whatever he is, does. Whatever.
Anyways,
that's what I imagine what he's doing all the time in Atlantic City.
He ruled that this IP1 pistol doesn't qualify for this New Jersey law because an unauthorized user can still fire it. I guess that's the clincher here in the law, is that the gun has to be, foolproof. Like, it's only its owner can fire it. There can be no one else.
How would you do that? You'd have to put like some sort of biological lock on it, or something like that.
Right. And he was saying this one doesn't qualify. I think the wristwatch has to be within 10 inches of it, but someone else, someone else could grab it and shoot it, as long as it was by the person's wristwatch, or they could take the watch too.
So, in essence, the watch has an RFID in it, and so but so any of that technology like that, could whether it be a ring or a watch, none of that you'd have to be like your fingerprint or something, biometrics or some sort of so I don't see in the near future what gun would pass as that. So it's kind of like awesome. If this isn't going to pass, what is gonna?
Right.
That's from living in the South.
It says under the law, the New Jersey Attorney General is obliged every 6 months to inquire as to whether such firearms are available and report back to the governor and state legislature. All right.
Yeah.
No one cares. Moving on.
No.
Recall Remington Model 887 shotgun. Check your gun safe if you have
Oh
a
no.
Remington 887. There
That's
is a
a surprise.
recall.
Look at that. Remington made a gun that doesn't work or needs to be recalled. That's a miracle. I don't
Yeah.
believe it. That's
So
what the
sad.
same thing's gonna happen with Colt. They turn into this company that's only cares about like liquidity, and then all of a sudden your stuff doesn't work because they're looking at the bottom line. Remington needs to go away too. Same as Colt.
Wow.
They're
Bold move.
horrible. They destroy everything they touch, which you'll see later on. Everybody from AAC is gone now too because it's bought by Freedom Group.
So, Remington in the recall, it says the remedy and action to be taken is to stop using your shotgun.
The firing pin sticks out, and you could have an out of battery discharge, or like if you chamber the round, it's discharge. So they
Yeah.
had the same issues with their 700s after, and then the R51 never worked in the first, like, ever. They remade a gun with today's modern stuff, and then it didn't even work. Remington, you need to just stop.
Right. Well, what gun company do you like, Peter? I mean, honestly.
FN.
Oh.
FN and Keltec, which we're talking about next.
That was my segue.
Yeah,
Keltec
okay.
production numbers. So this is on Volk Studio blog. Oleg Volk, he's a firearms photographer, a really talented guy. This is on his blog. He says, looking at ATF documents for 2013, I see Keltec production numbers totaling 81,714 handguns. 22,875 of them were either the PLR-22 or PMR-30, and they also made about 17,000 rifles of various models and about 19,000 KSG shotguns. So, Keltec is known for, like the KSG and PMR-30 are kind of known for not being able to find them,
Well, the thing is like,
Right.
if you want an AR-15, there's about between 7 and 8 million companies making them. Right? If you want a KSG, there's one
Exactly.
company that makes it. And that's the cool thing. It's like Colt hasn't made anything new in like ever. But Keltec is constantly making new, innovative stuff. Yeah, their quality isn't like the greatest stuff in the entire world, but they're way better than they used to be. And they're doing things a lot better. And they have a huge demand, but they're kind of a small company compared to these huge companies like Colt and them. But compared to some of these other companies, because I went to Keltec's factory along with a bunch of like a bunch of others like Lewis Machine and Tool and Rock River. Keltec's production facility is the largest one that I have been to, but I haven't been to FN or Colt or any of those, or Smith and Wesson, any of those huge names. But like they're bigger than anybody else. They have like 70 CNC machines running. They have tons of people working 2 shifts, trying to make all this stuff. It's not their fault that people want their stuff.
He also says 2014 isn't over, but it says their production numbers will be close to 150,000. So that's a pretty big jump over 2013, 81,000 to 150,000.
And they're coming out with even cooler stuff. It's crazy.
They're a bunch of good guys too. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a lot of people want to talk junk about some of the stuff that Keltec's done, but they're innovative and they're nothing but good people. Every interaction I've ever had with anyone at Keltec has always been nothing but awesome.
Absolutely. When I was there, a younger kid that was working in the factory knocked over like a giant thing of firing pins. And it was like a Friday, and we were fixing it up, and they just flew all over the floor, and it was literally like everybody in the area just came by and helped him pick up the firing pins and put them in the thing instead of like making fun of, like, it's just like you don't see that stuff. And like Keltec has a gun that it's going to be in the next, not this recoil that just came out, but in the SHOT Show edition recoil, and they came out here and it was like, the stuff we did and the cool photo shoots and the things we did, you would never ever have with those large companies that are in essence run by lawyers like Colt. And like you wouldn't have that innovation like Colt Remington. Like no way a Remington rep would have came out and bent the laws that we did to get this thing done. Like, this never would have done it. You know what I mean? And because they're just like, oh, look at them, and they're never going to innovate. Remington or Colt is never going to come out with an innovative product ever, especially if they're thinking that way. It's just going to be the same old junk that doesn't work. But Kel-Tec is getting better and better and better all the time because they're thinking like that. Same way AAC is going down and Silencer Co. is going up. I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to.
So from that though, Jake, I think especially going back to because Whitey wanted Colt to die, I don't think I necessarily want Colt to die. I don't think I want Remington to die. I think I'm on the same page with Peter when I want to see new blood come in to run the show. I want to see this is what Natalie caters to. This is what Peter writes for. This is why I make the videos and reviews that I do, and why I did members. And that's because there is a new generation coming up, and the way that things have always been done in this industry no longer works. The good old boys network, and because the guy said the 45's a man stopper behind the counter when he tries to sell you a Browning, isn't the answer anymore. And that's what I want to see change. I want massive upheaval in the upper structure of management. That's what I want. I want the investors to come in and say, this is done. See that whole Noir show? We want that. We want sexy. Why don't we have sexy? We have Colt Leo ARs that we can't get rid of.
No, absolutely. I agree. Unfortunately, that's not what we're seeing, especially if you look at our next story. John Hollister and Derek Smith quit AAC. So,
dun, dun, dun.
I guess these guys were kind of the last of the original, main guys from Advanced Armament, noticeable guys that were there before Freedom Group acquired AAC. And so, more of the guys move on. I'm curious where they went, because I know Silencer Co. has been trying really hard to pick some of the top guys off at AAC.
Some of them, there's a company in, because they were in ATL Atlanta, and a lot of them went, or some of them at least, went to Liberty, which is kind of like it's like a working man's suppressor thing, you know what I mean? If it's your first suppressors or something like that, they have some cool ones that appeal to. They're lower priced, and they're not full auto rated because most people aren't shooting full auto through them and stuff. And then some of them did go to Silencer Co. But
what about that other company that just started too with some of their guys, or was that from Silencer Co. That turbine shaped suppressor?
Oh, I don't know. That thing looks ridiculous though. It's
but
it's long.
It's quiet as crap.
Oh yeah, of course. It's the longer is as long as me. Of course, it's going to be that quiet.
No, instead of using baffles, they're using turbine type blades that go down it, and it's roughly the same size, and it's also
really okay. Then we're thinking of a different can. So
it's like Dead Quiet or something like that, But a couple of guys from AAC went and started that company, unless I'm completely mistaken, and it's a different silencer company that said, "We're out of here."
Well, it's a shame because they had AAC forever. I drank their Kool-Aid and preached their stuff, and this is exactly what happens. The innovation stops. So even from when I started buying suppressors in 2009, I bought my first suppressor on a satellite phone from Iraq because Obama got reelected, and I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna take it away, and I'm talking to the dude on a sat phone. But the innovation, the cans I have when I bought are obsolete compared to cans that are out now. It's crazy, and it's only been 5 years. And so, with putting AAC, with Freedom Group, after they bought them, the innovation's going to stop. And it's going down. And Silencer Co., they're just young bloods. They're all young. Look at their marketing. Look at their Instagram page where there's playing, they have a ping pong tournament on Fridays or something like that. That's the type of stuff you need to advance and get on here. It's not, what's liquidity do we have to our bond shareholders and what? No, that's what's gonna, you're screwed. But
well, earlier one of us mentioned that gun sales are booming this November and Black Friday, and some numbers are in. That was Natalie.
Just making sure everybody knows.
Quote hashtag. Okay, noted. So the ATF has noted that it performed 1,803 and 397 background checks in November. Black Friday set a record for gun sales with 175,000 background checks in just one day. Now, these are pretty good looking numbers, but you can also contrast them with December 2012, which remains the all-time record holder for the month of gun sales with 2.78 million background checks through that month.
But that was a month, right?
Yeah, and November. So this November was 1.8. So that's roughly 1 million, just under 1 million more.
Well, we have our major incident is not something as tragic as what happened in December 2012. I mean, we've got two Republican houses coming in. Everybody's happy. Everybody's in a good mood. That's when gun sales go down, and they're going up. I mean, that's great. That's fantastic. I think everybody should be pretty excited about that, especially the accessories companies, as noted earlier.
Well, I'm excited. I hope they're all AR-15s because they need to clean them.
I'm telling you, I think I mean, obviously this is my sector, but the female growth is not slowing. It's just picking up steam. I mean, that's what I'm seeing anyway. More and more women are getting into it because their girlfriends have been doing it, for the last couple of years, and okay, finally, they're getting together and going to the range. I mean, it happened to me today, so I think I wouldn't be surprised if that's still a huge part of the growth.
Well, according to the CNN Money article, it says the jump in sales, particularly of assault rifles. So,
Peter.
Yeah.
Yay.
All right. Judge orders Walmart to let investors vote on gun sales. So on Wednesday, U.S. District Court Judge of Wilmington, Delaware, ruled that Walmart wrongfully dismissed a proposal from New York City's Trinity Wall Street Church that would require the Governance Committee to review policies on the sale of certain firearms and magazines that hold more than 10 rounds of ammunition. The judge said that allowing shareholders to have a say in the matter would serve the public interest. Well, I don't know. Help me on this. Walmart?
I don't see how any of this is legal, but I'm not a lawyer, so that's probably why. Some church in New York orders Walmart, who's from like Arkansas or something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
To their investors to research somebody from Delaware. I'm like, how does this? I would have just ignored that and just like those speeding tickets where they take a picture of you and you're supposed to pay them, but you don't really even have to. You just ignore them and they go away. Mm-hmm. That's what I would have done with this if I was Walmart. But
do those really go away, Peter?
Yeah, I think so.
Not in California.
Well, I mean, we can write a book.
So I think you're right. That's a big question. How is this possibly legal? I mean,
and they didn't explain any of that in the article. I was trying to figure out what the hell was going on, but pretty much Walmart was like, no, kinda, what it seemed, and then like, I was super confusing. I just didn't understand it.
This is gonna go nowhere.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is with the limited information we have. For those of you who don't know, when you check the show notes and read this article, you'll kind of see what we're all looking at. And what it boils down to is that this is them just trying to tie up probably the most well-funded legal team in the United States in something that's just not going to even matter. This makes no sense at all.
No. I literally just would have ignored this altogether if I were like, oh, whatever.
It's like so confusing that if I ever have for some strange reason in my life, the need to deal with New York City's Trinity Wall Street Church, that I'm just going to be like, pound sand, I don't even want to talk to them, they're weird. It makes no sense. You're wasting my time.
All right, well, on that note, if you're anti-Walmart, you can shop our affiliate link at Amazon and contribute to the Firearms Radio Network and This Week in Guns. So check out our affiliate banners on thisweekinguns.com and firearmsradio.tv/Amazon will get you right there for your shopping this holiday season. Beat the crowds, don't get trampled, shop Amazon. through our affiliate link. So, as always, we have way too many articles to cover this week. We have one about Florida hunters given the ability to hunt with suppressors now, and then there was also an article about militias in Ferguson. You can check the show notes for those. So we are to the full auto news segment, stories the real media won't talk about, and other crazy stuff. So this is where we each pick a couple of our favorite crazy articles to outline.
Yeah, Natalie, get on it.
Natalie, sounds like you got something.
I'm gonna be such a jerk.
Pick Peter.
All right, here we go.
All right, Peter, go.
I'm gonna sound like such a hole here, but I'm gonna have to do it anyway. Okay, $99 AR-15 bump-fire stock, dude. This is like the epitome of stuff that I cannot handle in the gun world here. One, nothing about a bump fire stock says professional, and it shows it perfectly in this. If you go to the website of this thing, it's what is it, bumpfirestocks.com. It's the perfect example of what you see at the range of somebody shooting a stupid bump fire stock. It's somebody who's clearly has never had any training on firing a full automatic firearm. This is a girl here, not saying that they can't, but this one clearly doesn't. She's leaned back, like got the lady lean on, and no, the stock is down here. Her head is like 5 feet above the thing, so she's got no stock. She's not looking, and it's an AR-15 with a 3x9 scope on it, which is the dumbest thing ever. Why do you need 9 power on a firearm that can only shoot like 500 yards at max, and you can't shoot that far anyways? Like, just put a dot on there and stop being an idiot. All right, especially if you have a bump fire stock, you're not gonna be able to shoot that far. And so her head's like way up here. She's leaned back and just goes, whoa! Just dumps the mag randomly into hopefully a berm somewhere, and then turns around and grins at the camera like an idiot. It's like, oh, if this is what you're doing with your 5.56 ammo, why don't you just give me the money, and you could just like flush. I'll give you the brass and then you can just flush it down the toilet. Like there's no training involved, there's no marksmanship involved. You're just shooting a gun off randomly like a mongoloid, and that's exactly what you look like to anybody who's even remotely professional. Please do not buy this $99 AR-15. like get $99 in ammo and train doing something. Do something useful with it. Please.
See, usually I have to do a lot of legwork to get potential sponsors to say no to the show, but
wait, are they a sponsor?
No.
Okay.
No, but you've ruled out like 24 companies already. So.
Who? This bump fireplace? You don't want.
And all the other companies you.
No. What, Remington?
Never mind. So Whitey, what do you think? $99 bump fire stock. I think FGG needs to do a review.
That thing is heinous looking. I'm sorry.
So it has like a block that goes in the place of your pistol grip, and then it like slides into this block. Is that right?
It looks like they did it pretty ingeniously. Minimum parts, minimum manufacturing. It looks like it's a great mold. Personal opinion on bump fire stocks is, oddly enough, it's more controllable than a full auto. In my experience, full autos you generally fight the rocking because of the forward pressure required on the forearm of an AR to make a bump fire work. They're actually very, very accurate. I agree, however, with Peter that it is a gross waste of ammo, but at the same time, sometimes you just want to have fun. So it's if I was buying a bump fire stock, I would buy one that's probably more aesthetically pleasing than that one. But listen, you buy what you want to buy. Don't listen to Peter.
Autos here way more controllable. You just have to know how to fire a full auto.
Well,
Okay.
Peter,
Up
consider. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm segueing here. Natalie, did you find an article?
I did. I
take it
think
away.
the Afghan woman picks up dead son's gun and helps kill 25 Taliban militants to save village.
Yeah.
Now,
Pretty BA.
what a badass! I don't know. I think actually, Peter, since you've got some experience there, you should chime in a bit. But I think this is so effing. Sorry, Whitey's the only one that can cuss. So I think it's absolutely amazing, and I would love to have been in her shoes. I would love to have seen that. I would love to have just seen her go out and just take revenge for what happened to her village and her family. And I just think that's like Mila Jovovich shit in real life. Oh no!
Timestamp.
10:03.
I got it.
I wasn't even drinking. Sorry.
It is crazy because women are the opposite of empowered in those countries. Like,
Right, yeah.
if you are if you're a woman, you should just not really like. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking on here. But I would not want to be. I would not want to be a Muslim woman in some of these countries.
Yeah, literally, like they're lower than like cattle, right? Basically.
Yeah. Like there would be. I've stopped cars where like there's women in the bed of the truck, but in the cab of the truck they have sheep because the sheep like are worth more to them.
Are more valuable. No, exactly, and that's why I think this is so amazing. So she's likely uneducated, and she figures out how to work this firearm, and she just goes.
No, they know how. They're educated in that. Don't worry. They all know how to. Every household in Afghanistan. Oh yeah, every household in Afghanistan and Iraq is allowed to have an AK-47 in it. So.
I just think that's so amazing. I'm so proud of her. I would like to give her a high five. I think she's doing more for peace than Malala. Just saying.
All right.
Is Peter crying or laughing? I can't tell.
He's touched. All right, Josh.
There was a couple I wanted to do, and that was one of them. So I'm glad Natalie picked it because it's like you see so much about them just not even wanting to fight for their own country, and that's an amazing story. The other one was the vet who was waiting for the dude who came in. I'm not doing the alligator. You're the weirdo with the alligator. The one I wanted to do was the fluted firearm, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that it's fluted, because I can't stand how much the media just eats up the whole buyback program. So basically what ended up happening is that they're making a nice big light of a fluted firearm. This is a 22 bolt action rifle that has been fashioned into a flute. So to,
like the musical instrument.
Right, the layman's eye, someone's just carrying a flute, but in reality, it's a bolt-action 22.
Yeah.
Oh, assassin's
a fluted 22.
Now here's the part that
that's really cool.
Yeah, it looks cool. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, my grandpa made this because he was bored, but 2 rocket launchers and a flute fashioned into a gun were among the weapons turned into the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office gun swap program on Saturday. A total of 2,541 weapons were exchanged for $75 and tickets to a Tampa Bay Rays home game. Horrible decision, by the way. 5 locations throughout the country. So,
with 2 rocket launchers?
That's where
I was annoyed too. Yeah.
Right, because it is an inert AT-4 and an M72 Law. So basically, 2 OD green tubes.
Right. That have already
But you don't say that. You say rocket launcher. Like, oh my God, what does America come to? We have rocket launchers? Really? No. You have a buddy who has a prop or a leftover from training that he brought home or was a gift, and it's like somebody just got Tampa Bay tickets. Now here's the part of gun buybacks that a lot of people don't know. 2,541 weapons were exchanged. 2,541 weapons were not destroyed. 2,540 weapons were not destroyed. I'll say it one more time. 2,541 weapons were not destroyed. They got picked over by third-party dealers to then go and be sold back to FFLs to be put back into the system so that somebody else could buy it.
Shut up.
That's how buybacks work. So the stuff that big headlines isn't usable in any way, shape, or form, those get paraded around as and then those get destroyed. But all the high points, all the Rugers, all the Saturday Night Specials, the 38s, old cop weapons, believe it or not, that disappeared in the field, things like that got turned in because they became ghetto pea shooters. Those get turned right back around by local dealers or people who travel. Believe it or not, there are still traveling FFLs that will go and buy this stuff. Gun broker, collectible type stuff. Yeah. And it gets right back into Gen Pop. So all this it's a fundraiser for local PD, and it makes everyone feel good. So that's why I get really up in arms about buybacks. It's like you are just being led down this path, and you're doing it willingly. Hooray! Hooray! Buyback! Hooray! So that's my soapbox for the night.
All right. Well, I want to talk about the man that steals an AR-15 from Walmart. That's right.
Oh,
Asheville, North Carolina, police are asking for help to find a suspect who stole an assault-style rifle with 150 rounds of ammunition from Walmart. He says investigators say the thief broke into the locked gun cabinet in the Walmart sporting goods section around 10 p.m. and promptly shoved the AR-15 down his pants and walked out of the store. And he also had 150 rounds of ammo somewhere as well.
Where?
Nice.
He shoved it down his pantalones.
How did he fit it in his pants with those balls that size? That's what I want to know.
Knocks it out of the park. Oh, wow.
I mean, really, this guy's got to know that there's a million cameras in
Cameras.
Walmart. And he jimmies a lock on a gun cabinet, and he grabs ammo for it.
Nice. At least he's thinking ahead, you know?
Yeah.
He gets 5 magazines worth of ammo.
Says investigators say the rifle and ammo were valued at $920. Obviously, a Bushmaster.
I was going to say M&P, but well played, sir. I want to see what happens to this guy. I hope we see this again, because they're never going to find it. They're never going to find that.
Yeah.
They may find him. They'll never find that gun.
Right.
It'll turn up 20 years from now in some random...
Mexico.
And an alligator.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wait, no, that's Eric Holder.
Oh, do we want to talk about the alligator?
Peter wants to talk about the alligator.
Yeah, okay, so
Take it away.
they just killed this alligator, huge, 910 pounds. That's massive, right? The record for alligator is like 1,100, so it's only like 100 pounds off of the record. And they find 5 Civil War era musket balls in it, along with other bullets as well. But they confirmed them as Civil War from, and then they said, from 185 years ago. However, I doubt that this alligator is 185 years old. One, I don't think they could live that long, and two, it would be like if I shot somebody with a Nagant, it doesn't mean I shot them in 1942. You know what I mean?
They should carbon date the rounds.
Well, I mean, they still could be that old, but either way, I just don't I don't think that because I think it was maybe somebody in the turn of the century shot it. An alligator's 100 years old, and he shot it with a, because if you think if it's 1910, a Civil War gun is only 40 years old. That's not really that old. 40, 50 years old. So, it's not like after the Civil War they just threw all those guns into a swamp somewhere. They're still around in use till eventually, people stop
Average
using them.
lifespan can be 70 to 100 years old.
Yeah. So you probably was shot by these balls after the Civil War. So, but what do I know? Maybe it is that old.
The part of that article that caught my eye was that it said what finally put the gator down was 5 50 caliber rounds.
5, not 1 or 2 or 3 or
5
or 6. 6.
5 600 grain banana peppers got thrown into that thing.
Well, and you fire at the brain, right? That's the only way to really kill them. So it took 5 in the head?
Well, they probably
didn't. Zombie?
So to give everyone at home a good idea, if you've never experienced what a 50 grain bullet is like, 5 50 caliber rounds is essentially an 8-pound sledgehammer got thrown through this alligator. That's what it boils down to.
It's like basically Thor's hammer.
Yes, nailed it.
The creatures are nuts. It's like a giant thing of muscle. That's all it is.
This picture, it's so big that I could be fully grown with all of this glory that I am. I could be inside of that. I could be inside of that. Yeah.
I saw one while kayaking. It was this bigger than my kayak. I have a 12-foot kayak. It was like much larger than my kayak, and I'm like, oh my god.
Whoa.
Yeah, they're huge. I saw one bigger than my Subaru. It was like it looked like a monster. I've never seen it like that. I'm like, this is like a dragon.
You may have been high.
No. I'm in Louisiana. They're here. They're huge.
In a world where Peter De Palma sees dinosaurs floating, he takes another shroom.
Imagine what it would be like if I did drugs. What that would look like.
I think you would actually be really, really mellow.
Just sit here.
All right, what about the war on Christmas? Pittsburgh man shoots rifle at neighbor hanging Christmas lights.
So, listen, I was raised Jewish, and even I think that's fucking crazy. Oh, timestamp 10:13. I dropped an F-bomb.
At least you weren't the first one.
Yeah.
So, a Pittsburgh man has been taken into custody after attempting to shoot a neighbor with a rifle while he hung Christmas lights on his house. Police arrested Richard Carter, 53, of Munhall on charges of attempted homicide and several other counts after shooting at a neighbor Saturday afternoon. According to police, Carter barricaded himself inside his home, necessitating a SWAT team that eventually convinced the man to surrender after a 2-hour standoff. Now that's unusual. Wouldn't the SWAT team just throw in some flashbangs and?
Yeah, I just think a SWAT team was called out and a negotiator probably talked it down. But for the effect of the article to make it sound crazier, they used SWAT team. Like the SWAT team guys do not reason with you.
It says Carter had mental health issues and is known to the police.
What's annoying is they said he had a bunch of spent shell casings in his house, and then a list. He had other ammo and guns. But I have, if somebody were to come in the house, they would be like, he has 40,000 spent shell casings. It would make it seem like I got into like a giant firefight, but really it's just I picked it up from the range. And I imagine that's what happened to this guy. I'm sure he didn't shoot at his neighbor like a dozen times.
So the neighbor escaped injury, except he suffered a cut lip that police say was caused by a ricocheting bullet fragment. Well, with neighbors like that.
Maybe Christmas was just like a bad time of year for him. Maybe bad memories. Who knows?
Well, speaking bad time of year, a 47-year-old lady stabbed boyfriend for starting Thanksgiving dinner without her.
As she should have.
That's just hormonal right there.
There's probably wine involved.
No, that is estrogen issues right there. That's not okay. Go see your gynecologist and get that shit fixed. Sorry. Oh, that's not.
I'm winning. 2-1.
How am I the one who hasn't cursed the whole show?
I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry.
I have this upstanding NRA commentator on the show, and see what happens.
Yeah.
So
I was like, man, there's.
No one wants to talk about the Colorado man facing felony charges.
I just clicked.
I did actually. I did want to. I want you to talk about that.
No, Whitey, take it away.
Oh, I was actually I was looking at that because I got sidetracked by the dude who's shooting up the Mexican consulate, but.
In Austin?
Yeah, but you know what? You can take that one.
No, it's
Nathan Rolfe Channing, 27, of Fruitvale, Colorado, is facing a felony menacing charge for pulling a banana on 2 cops earlier this month. Like that.
I just want to hear you keep reading. Continue.
Mesa County. Yeah, I can't do that. I'm still sick. That's why I get the cool voice.
Yeah.
The banana. So basically, he was arrested and later explained he was doing a practice run for a YouTube video he is intended to lighten the holiday spirit. Nothing says lightening the holiday spirit like pointing anything at a police department in the name of YouTube. This is what Google has pushed us to.
This is not okay. Yeah.
This other one was kind of cool. An Austrian woman, she goes to put a log in her stove, and it blows up. And apparently there was a grenade that got stuck in a tree somewhere in World War II, and it grew around the grenade. I just think it's cool that we're still trying to kill Nazis. Still. It's 6 years later, and it's yeah. Thought you got away with that, huh?
What the? How did we get here?
I really hate Nazis. I've been watching all these things on History Channel.
The Nazi hunters, you're still on that, huh?
Oh, it's so good.
Oh my gosh, did you see Fury?
No,
unfortunately, that was crap.
What? That is.
That movie
I'm
was
sorry.
horrible. It was so cheesy.
You're just upset you're not Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I'm gonna concur because that movie was awesome.
You're a mongoloid. Sorry.
I,
They like the Nazis were way more professional than that, and it was like a war movie from like the 50s. We're like, oh, it was, and then they like had these long scenes that didn't make any sense. That like, it just none of that would have happened.
Now I know why you write reviews.
Take that girl and have sex with her, or I'm going to. Like what? Like, it just didn't make any sense. It's ridiculous. And then she magically dies, and she like there's rubble, but like there's rubble everywhere except for her face, so you can tell who it is.
well,
It was so cliche. I wanted to give myself an enema.
but you prefer History Channel.
Well, at least that's real.
Ish.
Yeah, okay, except for the alien part. I don't know why they were always about the aliens.
I love Ancient Aliens so much. But that's on History too. History is just like swamp people and stuff now. So
Back to the grenade and the log.
Okay.
So yeah, apparently this tree had grown around it even after splitting the firewood. It was still completely enveloped in this wood. And
whoa, that was real. Hold on, now I gotta read.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. There's actually another picture here of another grenade that a tree grew around. So it's really, pretty interesting. You know, you see stories of like, trees that grow around bikes and fences and stuff like that. You've probably seen a tree growing around like a fence or something.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of ordnance dropped, and they sabotaged a lot of it, so a lot of it didn't go off.
But this did go off after how many years? That's
in a fire, yeah. Oh yeah, explosives. Some of them will stay.
There is no limit to the amount of profanity that would come out of my mouth if my fireplace randomly exploded.
They were digging in LA a few years ago. They were excavating for a new development, and they found a huge, it wasn't a missile. I mean, it was a bomb. It was like bomb. I don't know. Peter probably knows the technical term. But it was, they were very concerned about it. Like there's a huge, they blocked off roads for miles because all that stuff is still alive. It was very exciting. It was like the whole town was excited about it. I personally too.
Well, we had an article a month or two ago about the part of the Autobahn being blown up over in Germany.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, from a bomb. Yeah.
Awesome.
That is cool.
Yeah, good job.
It was like either a sabotage or it was their last ditch kind of effort. Like they built bombs underneath it, so the Allies couldn't use the highways to come in.
They forgot about it.
It was a bomb. No, it was a bomb that had been dropped and was just under there.
Paved over.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Right. Well,
what triggered it? I want to know what triggered it before we go. Okay.
Well, they ignited it to get rid of it.
Oh, got it.
Say if Germans were killed, it was probably
blew up a lot
God
more
who
than they
did it.
thought.
The passion. I love it.
Passion of the Palma.
So we've covered Nazis, cursing.
We got aliens in there.
Santa, aliens. All right, we're to the pick of the week before this show gets even more off the tracks.
It's nowhere near off the tracks. We're doing just fine. Don't sass the listeners.
Yes, we are.
Off the track is, hey, everyone, do you realize how good Jake's hair looks today?
It looks so good.
It looks good because I've had a John Deere hat on the whole day, so that's why it looks good.
Nice.
Hat hair. It's working for you. It's working for you, Jake.
I do it all the time. Yeah.
Smooth.
Okay. So we're to the pick of the week where we pick a gun, accessory, or gadget to talk about. So, Peter, you go first.
All right. I have this. I actually wrote an article for Recoil Magazine, so I plugged that. It's in this thing that's out. This episode of Recoil is out. It's the Air's Defense. What this is, it's called the SCR. So I forget what it's. I don't learn acronyms. I'm not in the military. I have time. Use your big boy words. Anyways, what it is, it's a lower. It's 50 state legal. So you could still use AR magazines, and you could put it on any AR upper you could put on it. And it looks weird, and how it works is it has its own proprietary bolt carrier, and it goes down. So and this uses Remington 870 stocks. So you could use like a Magpul 870 stock and use this Magpul forward stock, and pimp your gun out and have it in California.
That's an actual 870 stock.
Yep. So
Really?
that's what's so awesome. Like it's like now it's like New York, New Jersey, California, Colorado, anywhere you could have this. You could use your regular AR upper. You still have to comply with the barrel threading and whatever it is that they have, but you could use AR magazines in this with no bullet button and stuff. And I tested it and it was awesome. So you can read more about it in this issue of Recoil Magazine and put it on your coffee table.
Is it on their site? I'm looking. What was it? The SCR?
SCR, yeah.
That thing's cool looking. I'd rock that.
I think it looks neat too. Like I think it would be cool to get a forward stock, like a hand. What do they call that? Fore end that's wood, and they make them, and then put a wood 870 stock on it, and it would look like a hunting kind of rifle.
That's exactly what I thought of.
It would be so cool.
I'd rock that as a hunting rifle. Hell yeah.
There are some issues, but I mean, it's the best option in my opinion for those states that are not free.
That's pretty cool, man. I like it.
Thank you for that. From California.
No, it is pretty cool. I interviewed Jeffrey Herring, the president of Ares Defense Systems, on episode 138 of Gun Guy Radio, so you guys can check that out. And we talk about the SCR and his, whole development of that. So it's pretty cool. All right, Josh.
I want you to put Natalie on the spot because I don't think she's prepared.
Natalie, what do you have for the?
What do you have, Natalie? What do you have
Why
for us?
No. I'll take it from here. Give her a little bit more time.
Well, no, I'm not going to have anything.
Oh, jeez, just party pooper to have.
No, okay. Well, no.
You can't think of one product in the whole gun world just to make up right now.
Yeah, I can, but I mean,
NRA.
everything's so trite. I don't really work for the NRA.
Or whatever it is.
I don't really. I just host a show. That's all.
All right. So here's what I have. I've been fiddling with it every time I'm on mute. This is a standard issue Glock 17. I also have an M&P right here. And these have been refinished, reworked by a company called Innovative Gunfighter Solutions. There's a lot of companies out there that do things like this. If you have an Instagram account and you're not following Four Guys Guns, then you're crazy. But if you have an Instagram account, Facebook page, things like that, then don't worry, Natalie, you're following me. What they do is they cut the slide. They cut it in such a fashion that it provides a lot more traction and grip, as opposed to anyone who's ever held a Glock knows it is smooth. And when you go to rack it, you're pretty much getting a good purchase on the slide serrations. What he does slide serrations that are very, very, very tactile, and they really kind of grip. So even like on a standard, I mean, I can press check this thing to death. I can one-handed rack, and a lot of people say it just looks cool. Well, yeah, it looks pretty damn cool, and there's a lot of companies out there that do it because it looks cool. But I just went through a carbine course, completely unrelated but totally related. I went through a carbine course, and I literally I ran my balls off, which is hard for a large man of my stature. And halfway through this run, it's about 100 meters down, break every 25 yards, communicate with your partner, hit steel, shoot, move, shoot, move. When you get to the end, we had to apply a tourniquet. So I had a guy from Dark Angel help me apply a tourniquet, or teach me to better apply a tourniquet. So now I have one hand, still the carbine, got to work my way back on the opposite side. So now I got one hand, carbine, 25, shoot and move, 25, shoot and move, all the way back. I get to my last 2 rounds on steel at 100 meters. I've been moving. I have no left arm. And what happens? I get a double feed. Anyone who's ever tried to do a double feed in the mud, exhausted, with one limb, can fully appreciate something like the preparedness of having serrations or having extra traction or grip or any kind of purchase on anything, especially if you've never done it before or you haven't been trained well enough to do it at the drop of a hat. So ever since that and before, I've been practicing a lot more one-handed manipulations, and this allows you to literally, it's a cheese grater. You can rip this thing off silk pants, plain and simple. I mean, if I had to one-handed charge this or clear double feed or even tap rack bang with one hand, weak or otherwise, this thing is going to happen. And they're a little bit more affordable than some of the other options out there. So Innovative Gunfighter Solutions, check them out. You can send them your pistol. They'll make a pistol. Overall, it's actually a well-built this is theirs entirely. They do stippling, they do trigger work, they do everything, and the prices are a lot fair, and turnaround times are a lot shorter than some people as well. So check them out, Innovative Gunfighter Solutions. They do just about everything.
Very cool. Natalie, do you have anything at all?
She's muted. You muted her. She doesn't know she's muted.
You have to unmute.
I didn't. Okay, yeah.
No,
I'm
Jake did.
unmuted, right? I'm back on.
You're good. You were making noise.
I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to go with my new 511 hoodie. That is my accessory. It is not a gun accessory per se. However, it is gun related and is also athletically related. So I happen to love it. It is my favorite new thing from a gun accessories. Is that mine?
I don't know.
I think that's mine. I'm sorry. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Autoplay ad.
No,
No.
Superman, no here.
No, it's from one of the. It's from one of the things. It's from one of the links. It has to be.
Yeah.
I have no
They
idea.
love doing that.
Stupid autoplay.
It hasn't
ads.
happened. Okay, it's gone now.
Autoplay and clickbait.
No idea. No idea how that happened.
No,
Anyway,
that's a really good looking jacket. No, I like it.
it's a little hoodie. It's nice. It's fellas for your ladies.
Oh,
it's a really good
Okay,
little.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. 511, I should know what the name of it is. They also have this awesome new pant called the Cirrus pant, which is designed off of 7 jeans. So it's really cute. And I'm just saying they're developing nicer things for the ladies. And I highly recommend you check out 511 for their newest developments in clothing for us. Just in case, I'm just saying, Christmas is here. And Hanukkah, right, Whitey?
I don't. It's
Well,
whatever.
my pick of the week is some imported firewood from Austria that has. No, mine might be a little bit lame. Roll pin starter punches at Brownells, and not just the roll pin starter punches, but any of the punches or roll pin holders, anything like that from Brownells. If you're just getting into building your AR-15, or maybe if you've been building them for a while and just using the hardware store punches, they don't always cut it. And the ones from Brownells will be the right size. They're high quality. They're 100% lifetime, guaranteed, made in the USA. You really can't go wrong with them. Just good quality, simple tools that work. So
I
check it out.
finally broke down last year and bought a roll pin punch set, and I got it from Brownells actually, so I have that one. Oh my goodness, what was I thinking? Not having one. That sounds like I'm trying to sell it, but it's like using Allen wrenches or whatever punch you can. It's like, oh, I had one of these. It's like, whoop. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, makes all the difference.
Pair of Kellys and a small hammer, man. That's all you need.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about Patreon. Patreon's an easy way you can crowdfund This Week in Guns by giving $1 or more per episode. If you give $1 per episode, you get an awesome This Week in Guns and Firearms Radio Network sticker that is currently buried on my desk, and I can't find them. But we'll get those out to you if you're a $7 per episode patron. That's our Newsbuster preparedness level, and you actually get a first aid version of the MS Clean kit right here. Yeah. Safety. What color is this, Peter? Safety orange?
No, we don't say safety
red?
orange because lawyers like to it's international orange.
It's international. Oh, so if you're a tractor fan.
Yeah.
It's Orange Blaze.
And then the $15 level is where a lot of the cool stuff is, including $50 Duluth Trading Company gift cards. You get the full-blown, fully stocked MS Clean kit, $25 Gun Goddess gift cards, and the big-ass bricks.
We sell our jewelry there. I'm just saying. My jewelry is on sale. I do. My jewelry that you can see here, my gun necklace that you can see here that is on sale at gungoddess.com. I'm just saying. And even if you don't get my gun jewelry, I'm telling you, great store, great people. Buy from Gun Goddess. I'm just saying.
And
Right.
also, if you're looking for a big ass brick of soap or a ammo can full of them, Duke Cannon Soap Company has supplied limited edition U.S. military field grade or field boxes filled with 5 big ass bricks of soap. And yeah, so check it out. That easy way to support the show. Patreon.com/week. Well, that about wraps us up. So let's find out what's going on with the panelists this week. Peter, what's going on in your world?
I have finals. I have finals this week. It's crazy. And
so you're going to school. Remind us, where are you going to school for?
I'm going to school at LSU, Louisiana State University, for
Go Tigers.
Yeah, woo! And then we are. There's a lot of stuff happening in the coming year that I'm preparing for. So as soon as finals are over, we're putting a bunch of stuff together, and cool things are happening. Frog Loop picked up our kits, and they're selling them really right now. That's a great stocking stuffer. Is the kits because they're cheap and they fit actually. The magazine shape allows them to go into a stocking as well, really well.
So they were designed with
Yes.
stocking stuffer.
Yeah.
Classy. That was classy.
It just
And
fits
subtle.
right in there.
And really subtle.
All right, Natalie, what's going on over at Girls Guide to Guns?
Oh gosh, we got a lot going on with jewelry, making a lot of jewelry for the holidays, and then of course the more episodes of Love at First Shot will be coming out, and gosh, starting to work with some partners on some fun stuff, and also my rifle with Devil Dog Firearms is going to be coming out at SHOT Show, so we're working hard on that too. And I've got that line of gun paint, you may recall, with Duracoat, and so we're just doing a lot of customizing for all the ladies out there who are interested in getting into firearms.
I forgot you had a Duracoat line. That's awesome.
do.
We talked about that before, yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. So,
Yep.
Whitey.
And then I'm going to be moving back to LA. The land, not a free state, right?
Yeah.
Devil Dog just sent me an upper and lower too, and I was actually really, really impressed with the rail, not so much, but the upper and lower, absolutely.
Good. Good to hear.
I've heard good things about them. People tell me to contact them, but I'm busy and I haven't gotten around to it.
You know what, Peter? It's.
I know somebody. I can help
You
you.
get machine stuff all the time, right? Like, you know what a billet upper and lower looks like. When you have the Devil Dog, you question whether it's actually machined. It almost appears to be forged because he doesn't do the hard, sharp lines. He kind of rounds everything, so it's soft while still being hard. Yeah, and they fit very. This is probably the best rifle I've ever built. I'm no master gunsmith, but this thing shoots flat on everything I've owned and shot, including, I would put it right there with like a War Sport LVOA. That's how flat it shoots.
What the hell does LVOA stand for? And again, I'm not.
No idea. But no, Devil Dog is something to keep an eye on this year, in my opinion.
So what's up over at Four Guys Guns? I hear you have a membership thingy.
We are finally live with FGG members.
Live?
So,
for real?
Finally live. We've actually had a bunch of people sign up already, which is super motivating because it's kind of where we've always wanted to be. I've said it before on Firearms Radio Network, and I've said it all over the place. Helping new shooters has always been, where we wanted to be instead of this like marketing machine that Four Guys Guns has turned into. So basically, you sign up. I highly recommend, even if you're scared, try the 3-month plan. There's a 3-month plan and a 1-year plan. $35 or $79. What you get with that plan is you get new videos every month on a lot of the basics that people ask us. All these videos that we make, which are very high production value, all these videos are geared towards questions we have received through Four Guys Guns. How do I practice my reloads? What kind of gear do I need to bring to the range? I'm taking a training course. What do I do? These are all videos we have and are releasing every month, so 2 to 3 new videos every month. You also get a trainer map. Now, this isn't just everybody who's NRA certified in the country. This is people that have been praised highly by peers, by a lot of our fans, and when you have as many fans as we do, which we're grateful for, you get a good amount of feedback of a lot of different trainers. So it's kind of an Angie's List of, It's an FGG verified trainer list. Right now it's only got about 25, 30 people on it that we've either been to, know personally, have done video or any kind of work with them, and we can say, yeah, I feel totally safe, and that was a great course, great instructor, or people who have been resoundingly sounded off as, that guy's solid, make sure you send people his way. The final factor, especially with the time of the year, is the discounts. So when you become an FGG member, we've partnered up with, right now we're up to about 12, 13 different companies, as big as US Optics, Samson Manufacturing, Adams Arms, Voodoo, some training companies. There's a whole bunch, even holster companies, gun companies, to get everywhere from as little as, there's like one person that's 7.5% off. Most people are 15, 20% off. CMC triggers, all these things. You get specific discount codes that do cycle out every 3 months, so that if you're a member now and in 3 months you're like, oh, I wish I got a US Optics scope, well, you should have bought the 1 year, but hey, it's always still there and you can still buy it. So you get great discounts, find a trainer, and you get how-to videos updated every month. FGG members, go to 4guysguns.com. In the upper right-hand corner, click on Become an FGG member. Watch the video. It's me, very heartfelt, speaking to the camera, sometimes off camera. Really great stuff. Great partner weapon craft that we've been using.
Very cool. Yeah, check it out. I am also a member of FGG.
Jake was, I believe, our second member. That was 2 weeks ago. We weren't even like live yet. And Jake was like, oh, here you go. Tick, 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 tick. But, hey, Jake, what's going on with Firearms Radio Network? How are you guys doing?
Oh, fine.
John LaFontaine said that.
Yeah. We have a new voiceover guy, and yeah, he's working out pretty good. No, lots of great shows coming out every week. Too many to count. We have like 18 different programs on the network, and yeah, you really need to subscribe to the master feed on Firearms Radio Network on iTunes, where you get all the shows. Every day there's something coming out on the Firearms Radio Network master feed. Good stuff all the way around. So yeah. That about wraps up this show, so you can leave your feedback by commenting on the bottom of this YouTube video or the bottom of the show notes at thisweekinguns.com/095. And also, please subscribe on iTunes, leave us the iTunes review, and don't forget, shopping this holiday season, to check out our Brown Owls and Amazon affiliate links on our website at thisweekinguns.com. Well, that about wraps us up. Thank you, Josh, for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Jake.
In a world where I can do Firearms Radio Network.
And Peter had to split. I think he had a hot date. And Natalie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me again, Jake. Good to see you. You too, Whitey.
All right.
Pleasure to be here.
That's a wrap. We'll see you next week.